All right, welcome to the Sci-Fi Express Lane. This is Jeff Carroll on a hurricane weekend. Crazy, right? Pray for all of those that's getting hit by the hurricane. But been doing some binging. It's about to be the 4th of July coming up, and I binge watched. I watched it over 3 days. Supacell, and that was really interesting. Supacell on Netflix, and it actually made me think of myself as a writer, and I'll say probably even other black writers. And I say black writers, I'm talking about African Americans, my particular tribe. We call ourselves black, and other writing groups call themselves African. But the British writers, they get down with us. They call themselves black as well. And I think because many of them are descendants from Jamaica, whatever. Jamaica's a colony by England, and they get down with understanding the effects of racism, so they call themselves black. No problem. The thing that I thought of with Supacell is, do they take different liberties in writing white people conspiracy theorist stuff? Because I don't know too many black writers in America, and probably say any, but I'll say there's exceptions to the rule. But I don't know any, and I'm speaking with myself included, that have written a story that indicts white people the way Supacell did. Now, in Supacell, if we did that in America, I think it would be controversial. I think it would be on the news. We probably wouldn't even think Netflix would put anything on like that. Black people get superpowers, and they're being persecuted by white people. Only have seen that in, maybe a couple of comic books. And I'm saying a couple, meaning just two. All right? And that's how rare it is. And I think, we in America, when we go, black Americans, right? When we go into writing stuff like that, many times we indict all white people. And I don't think Supacell did that. They did it. I've seen South Africa do make some white villains that have like a whole problem with all black people. But they did it in Supacell, where they kind of had white people on both sides. And, people got mad with how the agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. was included in Black Panther. They got grief over that. Like, yo, you let this white person help us out? Are you crazy? This is a black revolutionary movie. The white dude shot 2 ships down or 3 ships down. Shot 2 and crashed into another one. And people lost it. Not everybody black, but there was enough about black people that people knew. It was about to be a power picture. You can't have black people take over and get power without having some white person contribute to it. Everybody was on Dr. Umar power rant, right? And shout out to Dr. Umar. I ain't trying to diss him, but he does see the black side of things. And, a lot of those people was like that, So with Supacell, they got the white kid in there, but he's not really of any power. He's a friend, he's a sidekick. And I know with black writers, we don't really write white token characters. We write like magical Negro white characters, which have some really teeth in the story. and we feel we got to include one. I don't even know if they felt they had to include this white kid in the story, but the character that he's friends with is biracial, so it's not that hard of a leap. But it's just amazing, and I'm sitting back thinking, yo, what would a black writer in America write this? You know, and there's writers probably who may have listened to my little rants. You know, I talk about black writers who write white character stories, you know, and many times they want to still be considered, you know, black, whatever it is, black sci-fi, black fantasy, black horror, but they don't have a character with black character, a story with black characters. And the little Dr. Umar in me feels that is the legacy of gatekeepers. You know, white gatekeepers told us that, you know, your story's not going to sell. We're not going to sign your story if it doesn't have, it can't be so pro-black, can't be so black. And while this story does have white people in it, I don't think black Americans would even write a story with white villains in it the way it is here. Now, I'm saying black writers because I already, know Black, the comic book by Black Mask, and this other one that had Stormbringers did, but that's really few. And you think about the amount of comic books that we have out, sheesh, so, and Black did well. I thought this was going to be Black. Now they probably can't even come out with Black as a television show because the stories are so similar, But yeah, we do a lot of Black X-Men. We do a lot of Black Superman and so forth. And this just happens to be a Black X-Men story, and they did a really good job. I'm not hating on it at all. I love the eye candies is there on both sides. The dudes is strong and masculine. And you got some really nice looking young ladies. So I'm not upset. I like the powers. I like the way they break it down. I even like the fact that it flips something that is a proposed weakness and making it a strength. Like if you know anybody that has sickle cell, that is a pain in the behind disease, right, or condition. And the way they flipped it from sickle cell to supercell was brilliant. It was genius, and I'm in awe of it. Part of it reminds me of my superhero story. I don't really write superhero stories, but I have one coming out in my next anthology of a collection of short stories. I call it anthology. My next collection, and the story is called The Awesomeness. And in this story, these kids have situations, right? From HIV to autism and, sort of other conditions. And they're brought in for an experimental treatment. And really it's just treating the immune system, right? And it ends up flipping it, and these kids end up with superpowers. And I like that origin story. That's why I like it in what do you call it? In Supacell, because it I don't know, it just, if you think of yourself being a kid and you remember dreaming of a superhero to come into your life, or if you could become a superhero, it kind of answers your prayers. And Supacell, although these kids really never dreamed about having superpowers. All of us who are watching it did, and that's why we're watching it. That's what is drawing us to it, is that we feel the connection. We see the dream. That's why people like Superman. That's why my favorite superhero growing up was Incredible Hulk. I liked his ability to heal. He seemed so strong. He didn't feel pain, and that was like amazing to me. So that was my favorite superhero. And I think about that when I think of superheroes, and of course something like Supacell, where they come up with an origin story that is taking something that makes your life horrible health-wise and turning it into something that is super, takes you beyond just curing it, right? It's not a cure, it's an upgrade. And so these kids got upgraded amazingly, and so I like that. But back to my post, right? Back to this story of blaming white people. And the thing that this does, that seems like I've seen it in South Africa, is that while the company is white, they target black people, like they're so notorious that like anybody could get it. And I think when black people think of the Klan, they don't really think of collateral damage, right? We don't really think of the Klan taking out white people that help black people, or white people that is in the way, mostly because they're so white power. That's, they would never do anything like that. So it's interesting. I can't wait to see what season 2 is going to be, and what it'll bring. I know the white lady is now taking over the group that is pursuing all these superpower people. So that's going to be interesting. And, kind of the other thing they did in this story was, instead of it just being like white people, it's a corporation. It's an organization. And that's almost like Hydra, I don't even know if they got black people in the testing group, but the helm is 2 white people. And within the testing operation, they do seem to have some multicultural people in there, but it doesn't seem like they are totally employees. They don't seem like they're even free. Like the people that they use to go after the team, right? And I forgot what the team is called, but to go after them is, of course, not of course, but since black people are the only ones with superpowers, these are other black people going after the black people that have, that are not in their organization. And the black people that are pursuing them, they don't look like willing participants. They look like people that are pressured into it. There's one of the guys, he was rescued out of jail. He was taken out of jail. And so he is the head dude. He doesn't seem like he would do it if it wasn't something he was doing for jail. Now, he probably would be a menace. He would probably be a villain. Looks like he would be a villain. So if there ever is a season 3, after they get past this story arc of this group testing him, then they may have him as an escaped villain, and that would be really cool. But anyway, it just makes me think, would a black person in America write this story? I don't know, because we have so many black people that are just like me, just don't want to deal with race at all, because we think it'll hurt our brand. I think people think they'll even get canceled, not just blackballed. Blackballs, they won't use you, but canceled. Like you'll get a name and it'll ruin everything. I don't know, but I'll see. Like this and the other one, was the last baby on Earth was a black woman. You know, I forgot what Clive Owen story with Clive Owen in it, and the black lady was the last one. Nobody could have children of men, that was the name of it. Nobody could have children, and the first person to have children was a black woman. That's crazy. If a black person in America wrote that, that would be crazy. I don't even think a black person in America would write that. We don't touch these things, mostly. There's been exceptions. But anyway, that's that. Tell me if you got what I'm getting, all right? Comment, share, like, and of course, subscribe. All right, I'm out of here.